In today's video, I am going to tell you how to enjoy your Thanksgiving without feeling like you are sabotaging your fitness goals and just going wild with the portion sizes. So this information is from my Knockout Holiday Handbook, which you will get for free when you purchase my Knockout Body 2.0 program, which is on sale for Black Friday. Woohoo! This program is going to teach you healthy habits so you'll know how to enjoy yourself without stressing out about food and feeling like you're gonna sabotage your fitness goals, because that doesn't happen. When you are living the Knockout Body lifestyle, you love your life and you reach your goals. So let's get into the tips. First, little disclaimer though, you don't have to follow these if you're someone who just wants to let loose on this day and not worry about things. That's totally fine because it's just one day. You just got to get right back on track. So I'm not saying you have to follow this, but if you're a little bit stressed and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? These tips are gonna help you. Okay, so tip number 1 is to eat a nutritious and filling breakfast or first meal of the day. Like if you're, like I personally don't eat breakfast. It's kind of, well, I mean, technically it still is a breakfast, but it's pushed either early afternoon or very late morning. But your first meal, at some point in the day, you want to have a good, nutritious breakfast that is high in protein and fiber, because this is going to fill you up. While you want to try to save calories for the dinner, you don't want to starve yourself, because if you go into the dinner ravenous, things are not going to turn out well. So you need to find the fine line between saving calories and like eating light throughout the day, but you don't want to be starving yourself. So yeah, I always stick to protein and veggies. My go-to is usually egg whites, eggs, and broccoli. And again, the fiber in the broccoli, gonna fill you up. The egg whites and eggs, the protein, gonna fill you up. And then later in the day, I might have a protein shake. I might have a little bit more veggies. Again, if I'm starving, I'll have more, but I do try to keep it to a minimum if possible. Now, I do keep these meals kind of boring just because later on in the day, I'm gonna be having fun stuff. So it's like, okay, for once I can have some plain egg whites and plain broccoli, because later, the stuff is not gonna be plain. That is the tip number 1. Fill up on protein and fiber to hold yourself over. Tip number 2 is to stay hydrated. Yes, you can drink an alcoholic beverage or some sort of beverage that is not water, but have water at the same time. I always keep the water going because, I mean, in terms of a Thanksgiving dinner, the water's gonna kind of fill you up so you don't get too thirsty. It's going to prevent holding excess water weight, and obviously it's just good for you. Like, there's been times where I have walked around at a party holding 2 cups, one with alcohol, one with water, and yeah, so you just gotta be on top of the hydration. You got your other cup, water, you got your meal, bam. So do not neglect the water if you are drinking some fun drinks. And tip number 3 is to load up your plate with lots of veggies. Back to the vegetable thing. So again, because they're higher in fiber, it's going to fill you up. So you got your plate. First, you're gonna fill it up with a good portion size of veggies, and then you're gonna add the other more fun stuff to the plate. And then you can eat the veggies first, so it kind of like gets rid of your initial hunger, and then you can eat the other stuff after. The thing about this too is if a large portion of your plate is filled with veggies, kind of like naturally you might end up taking less of other stuff, just because when you see like your plate full, it kind of just makes you feel more satisfied. It's kind of like the thing where people say to use like smaller plates, because in your head you're like, oh, my plate is full, it's overflowing with food, wow, this is great. So obviously, say if you fill up a lot of your plate with vegetables and then you end up wanting more of the other stuff, that's totally fine. But the purpose in eating the vegetables first is just to initially fill up on that so you don't eat more than necessary of the other foods. Now, if you think your vegetables at wherever you're at have like a lot of oil and butter, obviously you might not load up as many, but of course you can still eat them. Okay, and tip number 4 is don't waste calories on foods you don't love. So, for example, I freaking love stuffing. Stuffing is life. Stuffing is everything. It's all I care about in Thanksgiving. So I know that I want to have a pretty big portion size of stuffing, which means I try to think strategically and have a little bit less of other stuff so I can just load up on the stuffing. So I might not have, like, say if there's like little dinner rolls, even though I like bread, it's like, you know, I could have that anytime. So I'll skip that and replace it with extra stuffing. Or even if you add something to your plate and you try it and it's just like, okay, like maybe it's not bad, but it's not like, oh, this is delicious, don't eat it all, because like, why use up calories on stuff that's not like, oh, delicious? This is definitely something that I have to be conscious of because I'm the kind of person where I just load up my plate and as long as everything tastes decent, I just like wolf it down. I'm like, yes, eat all of it. But if I'm trying to be conscious of things, I'll try something and I'll be like, you know, this is just okay. I don't have to eat it all. So if you're like me, if you're like that, definitely pay attention and try not to do that. So tip number 5 is for fellow sweet tooth people / lovers like myself. So here's another reason not to eat foods that you don't love. If you are somebody who loves dessert, don't overdo it on like dinner foods because you probably want to save some calories for dessert. So again, like I'll sacrifice some bread so I can have more pie and ice cream. Even stuff like, say like mashed potatoes. I like mashed potatoes, but you can have that anytime. I mean, you can also have dessert anytime, but no, like a good pumpkin pie. So yeah, again, I'll have a little bit less at dinner if I know I want more dessert. Or if you're someone who has multiple different like dinners per weekend, like say when one side of your family you got Thanksgiving dinner and then you got another Thanksgiving dinner the next day, you could plan to have one type of dessert at the one dinner and another type of dessert the other dinner. Like say if your grandma makes amazing apple crisp and then at the other dinner they have apple crisp, but you know it doesn't compare to grandma's, just don't touch that one. Have something else and save the apple crisp for grandmas. So yeah, it's really just about the portion sizes, picking and choosing what's worth spending calories on, and try to eat slow as well. For me, again, if I'm not thinking about it, I'll just inhale food, and obviously that kind of sets you up to eat more than necessary. So you just want to be careful. You want to listen to your body. That's another thing. In a case like this, I like to just, if I'm trying to stay kind of on track, just eat enough so that I feel full and satisfied, but not like, oh my god, I feel sick, I feel like I ate enough to feed a small village, just like kind of a nice fine line. And yeah, so that is it. And of course, if you end up overdoing it and eating more than planned, do not beat yourself up. The key is just to get back on track the next day. The reason a lot of people gain a lot of weight over the holidays is because it's the in-between days where they tend to just overdo it, because it's like there's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, blah blah blah. That's not that many days, so it's what you do on the in-between days that is gonna help you along. So remember that. Just don't beat yourself up. Get right back on track. Like I mentioned, my Knockout Body program is gonna show you how to do all of this. You can honestly even lose weight over the holidays without feeling deprived at all. I have done this in the past and it's pretty damn nice. It's pretty damn nice. You don't have to do the stereotypical Christmas weight gain. Apparently it's common for people to gain like 8 pounds. No, that doesn't have to happen. You can have your cake. So definitely check out my Knockout Body program. Hit the link in my description box below or in my bio if you're watching this on Instagram. And that is it. I am so excited to help you through your fitness journey and make this a lifestyle. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Bye!